Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Diana Ferris, and I teach workshops and coordinate our educational outreach programming at AMACO Brent. We're a family-owned manufacturing company in Indianapolis, and we recently turned 100 years old. For ceramic lesson plans, video demonstrations, and free downloadable teaching presentations, go to amacoclassroom.com and also check out our AMACO Brent YouTube channel. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Kathy to introduce herself and present our demonstration.
Hi, my name is Kathy Skaggs and I work with AMACO. I taught art in the public school system for over 30 years, and I know that this year must be very trying for those of you that are in the classroom. I want to go over some things with you that may help you this year. You know, there's no magic bullet to all this. There's no one way that's going to fit everyone's situation. So my hope is that you'll find one new thing or one thing that you can use in your classroom this year to make your life a little bit easier. This is what we're going to talk about. One thing we're going to talk about is tools. If students are able to take some materials home, what kind of tools will you provide that are affordable? And if you're not sending clay and supplies home, what are some affordable tools you can use in your own classroom? Another thing that we're going to talk about is how to take your videos, some simple equipment that you'll need. And last but not least, we're going to go over some simple editing in Keynote and PowerPoint. Instead of trying to make one long video, we're going to chop this up into manageable pieces, and we're not going to spend a lot of time doing a lot of video editing. I just don't think this year you have the time for all that. So I'm going to show you the way that I started, which is really easy, and just dropping it into presentation software so that you can share it with your students. Let's talk about some benefits to taking videos of your demonstrations to show your students. One is that presentations can be modified or changed. People would always ask me, when did I have time to take videos to share with my students? Because every demonstration I did was on a video for the last 5 to 10 years that I taught. When did I do it? The planning period before I needed it. And I took these quick little videos, I dropped them into presentation software and made it step by step for my students. I could take my videos and show them to students, and if I didn't think they were really effective, I could reshoot them. Some of them I never reshot. Some of them worked great, some of them not so much, but that's a big advantage. You don't have to prepare for multiple demonstrations. So that way, if you're teaching one studio class one period and another studio class the next period, you don't have to worry about, did you forget some supplies? Do you have something not prepared? There's nothing worse than having a demonstration ready and remembering that you forgot one important tool and have to walk away while you're trying to keep your students' attention. Doesn't work so well. By teaching this way, you're going to provide the audio. This is what I find with YouTube videos. They're very informative, and I love going to YouTube to find new ways of doing things. However, a YouTube video is one continual stream of information. Students watch it. By the time they get to the end, they can't remember what happened in the beginning. By breaking all your videos down into steps for students, you can show them what's important for that day, and you can stress it in the audio. So by taking videos this way, there is no audio to your videos. You provide the audio live. That keeps students' attention, and you can pose questions. You can change the way that you talk to students based on the group that you're talking to. There's a lot of advantages. Students can review this work at any time. So if students have missed a day of school, they can go back and get caught up. Or if they're having a hard time with one of the processes, they can watch it as many times as they need to get caught up. When you shoot your videos this way, step by step, short little videos, you give them a global view in the beginning of the project of what they're doing. But then you can break the steps down to what they need to do, concentrate on for that day. That way, they only have that task at hand and they can concentrate on what you're asking them to achieve during that class period, and then they can move on. This also helps by keeping kids together, especially in beginning classes where you have runaway gifted kids that want to rush through a project and maybe somebody else that's having a tougher time of it that wants to slow things up. This way you can keep students together and move them all along, and they can all succeed. This is a video that I made for you. It's a split screen video. And what I did is I put my iPad up on the shelf in front of me with some duct tape, nothing very fancy. And I put my iPhone pointed down to my working surface. I love these split screens when I do talk to students on a video, because they can watch me and they can watch what I'm doing, and it keeps their interest a little more. So let me show you how this worked out. Hi, and welcome to my studio. I want to show you some easy tools that you can use at home with your kids in case they have a chance to work on clay this year. Instead of these scrapers, substitute these plastic gift cards. They work great for smoothing clay. No pen tool, use a bamboo skewer. Works great. Modeling tool, use this to smooth clay together. Substitute either a popsicle stick or a tongue depressor. You can even cut it at an angle with a pair of scissors. No fettling knife, no problem. You can use a butter knife, dull, or even a plastic knife. You're only cutting clay. Try taking a ruler and a piece of drywall board and a dowel rod. You can put the pieces of ruler on either side of the clay, flatten the clay out, roll it. It's not going to stick to the drywall board, and it keeps the mess down. Another surface that I love to work on is this. It's called craft text. It's actually a fiber. It looks like a heavy paper. Won't tear. I use it on my slab roller, and the kids you can cut it any size, large or small, and they can work right on this. It doesn't stick to the clay, and they can use it as a mat to work on and just roll it up when they're done. You can even rinse it off because it's actually fabric, not paper. Works great. These are two materials I always have in my classroom, drywall and craft text, and I'll show you why. I love working with drywall because it's a great work surface for clay. I don't have the materials to cut wood. It's expensive and I don't want to cut it. This way I can score it and snap it and then cut it to size. You do have to be careful because there's a plaster layer in between that you do not want to get in the clay because it will explode in the kiln, so you have to be careful of that. So take some duct tape and wrap it around all the edges. Again, I love this because I've cut them into large pieces to use as wear boards. I've cut them into small pieces to transport pottery, and it is great as a working surface. Let me give you another idea of something that you can do in your classroom, something kids can do at home to prepare for projects. This is from AMACO Classroom, Ceramics 2, and it's a multi-sided slab box. I always have students make paper forms before they do their projects, so they have a three-dimensional sketch of what they're going to do. The kids love this project because they would take the paper, fold it into the shape they want, they would cut it apart so they had pattern pieces, and they could build it right on this map that they made. The beauty of this project is you put all the walls together and then you can turn it all different ways and then cut the opening. It's a great problem-solving task for cutting odd angles besides a 90-degree angles. Why would you work this way? Because students can see a three-dimensional sketch in paper before they take the time to roll out the slabs and construct this project. It's much easier for a student than drawing an example and trying to perceive how it will look 3D. That way they can work on their cardboard forms at home, and then when they come to class, they can work on clay slabs. I've also included these paper forms, the more complex ones, in AP 3D studio portfolios. This is what you need to think about before you start taking your videos. The first option is take one long video. Yes, it's easier because you're not turning things off and on, but you do have to know some photo editing, like say iMovie. And if you already know that, it's a great option. But if you don't want to learn that, if you are way too busy this year, I have another option for you that I started with and I think is easier for beginners. And that is to use your iPhone to take your images or use it as a document camera, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and to turn the camera on or the phone on, take your short step of the process, turn it off. Turn it back on, do another short little step, turn it off. You're going to be turning that camera or the phone off and on for each different step that you do in a project. That way, when you put this together step by step in a Keynote or a PowerPoint, it breaks it down into steps for students. And they're not looking at one long, continuous stream of information. And it's much easier for you because you don't have a lot of photo editing to do. I'm going to show you how to take these short videos, put them into Keynote or PowerPoint, and do your editing right in that presentation software. Fast and easy. To get set up for your demonstration, these are some of the things that you're going to need. Some drywall, a big piece or a piece of wood, tag board, or newsprint. Don't use newspaper. I used to use that and I found that it was very distracting for students because they always want to read what you've got on that newspaper. Newsprint, you've got a nice clean surface and you can change it once it gets dirty so that you can have a clean working surface. Remember, the drywall board is not for making projects. It's for shooting your videos. Why would you need a drywall board? Because it is a lot easier to move your working surface when you're shooting videos than trying to move your camera all around to get the best shot. This is the simple video equipment you'll need. Really, I boil it down to two options. One is a webcam. They're very affordably priced now. They take a wide angle picture and a very clear picture, or your cell phone, which big advantage, you have it with you and it's always ready to go. Once you've selected how you're going to take your videos, you can just mount them pretty much on anything. I've even taken my cell phone and laid it on a piece of wood over where I'm working. But I love these clamps that I bought on Amazon. You'll notice that this clamp has like a C-clamp end. I like that better than the next one that you're going to see. It has a flexible arm, and then you just screw the webcam onto the head of this. And I can mount it above my working area. The other one you can get is like this, and this is has a mount for a cell phone, and you'll look at the clip on the end of that flexible shaft. This does work good. It's fast, clips on, clips off. Personally, I don't like the way it holds as much as the other one, but you can get this head that's on the top that's on it that fits your camera. You can also get these flexible tripods and wrap the legs around things to mount them. And I love this little adapter I got, which I can stick my cell phone in and put it on either one of those. This is my fancy setup. So I have my work board, I have my camera or iPhone or webcam mounted above my working surface, and I have a desk lamp, very inexpensive. Cover it with a piece of shower curtain or tracing paper to help diffuse the light. Lighting is very important. And then I use my laptop to do some on-the-spot editing that I might need to do. Let's talk for just a minute about how you're recording those videos, because this becomes fairly important to what is going to work the easiest for you in your classroom. Option one is using your cell phone. We've talked a lot about that. The great thing about it is you always have it with you and it's available. You do need to put it on sleep mode so that you don't get phone calls or text while you're trying to use it we're going to set it up as a document camera in a minute. So it's always with you. The disadvantage is that you have to set it up every time you want to record. So that means you have to set some things up, put your mount up, put your camera in there, take your video, and then take it back off so you can use it for your phone call or text. Not a big disadvantage, but nonetheless. Now, if you use a webcam, the good news with this is you can set it up so it's always set up. When I first started doing this, I duct taped a tripod at a 45-degree angle to one of my tables, and I left it there until I needed to shoot videos. That way I could zoom over there, shoot my videos, be done. By doing it this way, you can set up a part of your classroom or office. You can set that webcam up, and you can leave it set up so that you're ready to shoot at any time, and it'll save you a little time that way. The disadvantage is, remember, webcams don't record unless you have it hooked to something like your laptop. So we're going to talk about turning your cell phone or webcam into a document camera and then linking that to your laptop and how to take your videos that way. If you want to turn your iPhone or your cell phone into a document camera, this is a free app that you can use that I've used before, and I like it a lot. It's called EpicCam, and you just download it for free to your cell phone. When you go to your laptop, type in EpicCam, and you're going to go to a website, but the website is not named the same as EpicCam, so don't let that throw you. Scroll down and you'll find an install for Mac or PC. Now I'm going to be working on a Mac in the rest of this little video, but PCs and Macs pretty much work very similarly anymore. It ends up in my application folder, and I open it up, and it is initially going to ask me for a plugin, and I said yes, and then it was fine. What is this software going to do on your laptop? It's going to help you sync up the app on your phone to your laptop, so that whatever your phone sees hovering above your work area, you're going to see on your computer screen, and you can screen record whatever you want to. This is what EpicCam looks like. And again, I love using this for a document camera. When I taught, I loved the way that I didn't have to have a separate piece of expensive equipment. All I had to have is the mount and put my phone above my working area, and then I could use it as a document camera. I could hook it straight to my projector, or I could hook this to my laptop and my laptop to the projector. You have lots of options. You can have a reverse screen, you have a rotate, you have a light that's on the actual phone itself, settings, and a green screen. I didn't really use the green screen because it wasn't applicable. If you look right in the middle of the screen, you'll see that little 1x right there in the middle. It goes 1x and 2x. So it'll zoom in slightly, not a wide zoom, but you do have that as an option. Now I have my iPhone mounted above my working surface. The working surface is that beige color with all the tools. I have opened the application on my laptop. Now watch what happens when I go to move some of the objects. When I move them, I can see it right on my screen. And then that way I can see exactly what's going on. Now it's not recording. I just can't have the availability to see it on my screen. How are we going to record it? We're going to take a screen recording on this. Now, let's just back up a minute. If you use your cell phone, you can shoot videos. Turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it on for every step. And it will take those videos, put it in your photos. You can drag those photos right into your presentation software. But if you're using a webcam, you need to set it up like this, because your webcam is not going to record anything. So you're going to do a screen record like I'm going to show you in the next video. So now I can see everything on the screen. I've got my camera mounted above my work area. On my Mac, I'm going to go to Command-Shift-5. And it's going to allow me to establish where I want to record my screen so I can crop it right then. Then I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to go and test it out and move a few things and see how it will look like on my recording. Then I am going to go stop my recording. And now you can see it small in the lower right-hand corner of my screen. I'm going to play my recording. So this is my recording that I made. What's the benefit of a screen recording? I could crop it right then. So there are a few advantages to doing it that way. Could you do it just straight out with your cell phone videos? Yes, that is an option. And you can use either one of those in a few minutes in your presentation software. Let's talk about presentation software for a minute. You can use Keynote or PowerPoint. Those two programs share a lot of similarities anymore. I'm going to use Keynote, but you can do the same thing in PowerPoint as well. But you have to remember, Keynote or PowerPoint, they're not going to edit those videos for you. So that's why you wanted to take them each step as a separate video. Now we can put the step-by-step videos into our presentation for students. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to open a theme. Keep it simple. Don't do a lot of aesthetics at this point. Get rid of all the extra text except for one bar of text that you're going to move to the bottom of the screen. And then you want to, you can center up that text, and then we'll doll it up a little bit later, but I usually try to put it toward the center. Then I'm going to go to the insert, and I'm going to insert my video. So I'm going to go into the file, find where I stored it, and I'm going to click on it, and it's going to insert it. Do I always insert my videos this way? No. I do a lot of dragging and dropping, especially if I'm doing it in a rush to show a class. So I find where my video is, and I just drag it right into Keynote, and it pops up as a video. Pretty handy. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to resize my video because I want to see a little bit of that text, and I'm going to kind of move it toward the middle. I don't want it super small. Then I'm going to do some really simple editing. I'm going to go up into the movies, and I'm going to take that scroll bar so there's no sound at all. Then I'm going to go to the trim toolbar, and I'm going to trim off the beginning and the end of the video. So handy, especially when it takes you a minute to start and stop those videos. So this way you can trim it to make it really focus on the part of the video that you want the students to concentrate on. Again, there's no way to crop these videos, so this is what I do. I draw a shape, a square, rectangle really, and I'm going to cover over part of my video, and then I'm going to change it to white. That's why I wanted to pick a pretty easy presentation background, so I didn't have to really mess with this too much. And then I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to move it to the other side. Now, this video really was pretty well cropped. But you want to get rid of all those distracting things that are around your presentation area when you're in a rush to shoot videos. You can put them on the top, the bottom, the sides, but you want to zoom in to where all the information is and concentrate that information in the middle. So since you can't crop a video in Keynote, you basically create a mask or you block it off with these shapes. Now I'm going to type in some text. This text is not for the students, I hate to tell you. This is for me because I do the audio. That way when this movie comes up, I can look at that brief text and I can remind myself what it is I want to stress with this one step. It also helps when students have to review it, but keep this text short. Kids are not going to be able to read a long text and watch a short video. Give them the audio because in that way, when you're showing it to them in class, they're busy watching the video while you're filling in all the audio. If you're thinking about turning your iPhone or your cell phone into a document camera. This is one of my favorites. It's called iDocCam. There is a fee for it, but I'm going to show you what I like about it. It's by this company, IPEVO. I have bought I've bought document cameras of theirs before. They're very affordable, but why buy that when now you can use your cell phone so easy? This is what the app looks like. So what I like about it is I have more possibilities. And one of the possibilities that I like the most is this variable zoom. On the other free one that I showed you, you have a 1x and a 2x zoom. This, I can zoom in at different degrees, and I love that. I will give you a hint. Turn off autofocus on all these, because autofocus wants to compensate when you move your hands, and it is a big distraction. Set the focus to manual and set it and forget it. Now, this is an easy split screen that I did. So let me tell you how I did this. I used my cell phone as a document camera with this app. Then I opened a Zoom meeting, and when I opened a Zoom meeting, there I am on the screen talking over my video. So it makes a split screen, real easy split screen, if you need to record your audio for students this year. So again, I opened my document camera, I started a Zoom meeting, I screen shared so I could share my document camera, and I automatically show up as well, and then I talk over the video. Really easy way to do a split screen. If you decide you want to tip your toe into some film editing, this is what I would suggest. Again, when I first started, I didn't know anything about film editing, and I was so overwhelmed teaching, I did not have the time to learn. I did grow to love iMovie because it has lots of options, including what I just found out, the split screen. When you bring in 2 videos into iMovie, it gives you the option to make a split screen. I thought that was pretty great. But it allows me to do a lot of cleanup and zooming in and editing that I wouldn't normally be able to do. iMovie is good on your laptop, but it's also really good on your iPad. They do have I did put it on my phone, but the screen is kind of small and it is hard for me to do. Another one I've just recently gotten interested in is Video Shop. I put it on my cell phone. I could shoot my videos, and I could do everything from a split screen right on my phone. I just moved the 2 videos in. I could crop them. It was pretty easy and pretty fun. And if you're a phone type person, like you're always on your phone and you do not want to be doing that laptop thing, this might be one for you. It's pretty easy. I found it to be pretty fun. I want to thank you for joining me on this video. If you've learned one new thing that will make your year better, I'm a happy woman. I hope you have a great school year, and I hope I see you soon. So long.